Greetings. This is a very tired, mentally exhausted small-town atheist. Another argument against God video. Um, it seems that my first video in this series sparked a little discussion on the YouTube page, and during that, something came up that I was planning on addressing here. So, Battleship TX, listen up. The Omnipotence and Omniscience Paradox is an argument that essentially goes towards talking about God's free will. Um, it it's basically does God know what He's going to do tomorrow? And if He does, can He do something else? Of course, like I've said in the comments in the previous video, you need to define your God first before we could really discuss this. And of course, I'm going under the assumption of that the God in question is the popular Abrahamic God, with all three of the major qualities and all that. See the first video, part 1, for all that jazz. One of the commenters had said that God could be perfect and still be able to change. And this deals with that. So let's get back to the paradox. I'll just let that go for a second. That some wacky idea that a perfect being could still change. So if God can change, does He know what He will do tomorrow? Does He know what will happen tomorrow? And of course, the next part to that would be, if He knows what will happen, can He do something else? Could He decide, spur of the moment sort of thing? And so basically what this comes down to is that if He knows what He'll do tomorrow and He still does something else, then He's not omniscient. Otherwise he'd know what the other thing was before He did it, and so He couldn't do something else because He would already know there is no else. On the other hand, if He knows and He can't change it, because that would basically be what that implies, then He's not all-powerful. He doesn't have the power to change. It's sort of like saying, can God say He doesn't exist? Now, I wanted to address Battleship TX's comments here on the perfect and still changing thing. As I mentioned to him, if his God is absolutely perfect, then there's no reason for change, number one, and there's no way to change, number two. Okay? The way I described this was that in order to change, you have to react. That's how we know time passes, is by change. If nothing changed, then time would be irrelevant and unfounded. You can't react to something if you already know ahead of time what the outcome of that reaction is going to be. So it's essentially the paradox that I just described. If God knows all this beforehand, then he's never surprised. He never encounters something that just threw him off and he didn't otherwise foresee. So not only did He know about the thing he's reacting to, but He also knew he would have to know what action He was going to take. None of this is sort of surprising to God. It's not like, it's not like you knowing what you're going to do tomorrow in meaning that like I know I'm going to go to the store tomorrow. It's not a general sort of no. It's like you're watching a movie and the guy ducks and misses a bullet. Okay, so you know for a fact that the next time you watch it, there's absolutely no chance that he's going to get actually shot that time. Um, it This is the paradox. This is the problem. And I know this is all confusing, but either your God doesn't know the future, or it isn't timeless, or all powerful. There's no way for him to change, and there's no reason for him to change, unless you either, of course, redefine him as either not all powerful or not all knowing.